Hey there, it's Lenny McGill with the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop here in the beautiful Nashville studios today. We're going to talk about a new light from Streamlight, who's playing a little bit of catch up with the rest of the world. Now, interestingly enough, Streamlight is really at the forefront, was at the forefront of weapon light development, police light development, way back in the day, really 30 years ago. Streamlight was the ticket. And then Surefire came out, and they introduced a weapon light that was literally 100 lumens. And I remember at the SHOT Show, this is 25 years ago, we were running around and saying, oh my gosh, have you seen this light? It was so bright. And now, the technology and really the engineering has brought us to the point where this light is now 1,500 lumens, 15 times the power of that original Surefire light that we were all so excited about. It is unbelievably bright. I mean, really, look at it. It's crazy. And it's got some great features. And a couple that are really, kind of mind-boggling when you think about it. And so I'm going to go ahead and go through it. But first of all, let's go ahead and see how it looks and how it fits on two different Glocks. It's a big light, as you would expect. It's got two batteries in it. We're going to see those in just a minute. But I want to show you how it fits on a Glock 17 Gen 5. You can see the 17 Gen 5 has a rail, and it has a slot here, a post in a sense, that accepts the post, that helps lock it in place. Okay, so you understand that concept. If we look at the light, you'll see that there's a corresponding post that goes into that slot that kind of locks it in place. And it's got a clamp right here that actually clamps onto the rail itself. So to install it, of course, make sure the gun's empty, make sure it's unloaded, as I just did in front of you. We're going to go ahead and push the spring-loaded rail adapter right to the side. And then we're just going to kind of fit it on here and get that post locked up there so that it goes into the slot, just like that. It's kind of locked in place. Now, you would tighten that down, either with a quarter or a screwdriver or even by hand, so that it kind of really clamps on there. Being careful not to over tighten it so you don't throw the dynamics or the harmonics of the slide cycling. Sometimes when people over tighten lights, it has a tendency to tweak the frame a little bit, which in turn could interfere with cycling. And that's how it fits on a Glock 17, the full-size Glock. You can see it's a big light, sticks out a little bit more. And people ask that question all the time. How far does it stick out? How big is it? So I want to give you a good idea of what it looks like on a Glock 17. And now we're going to go ahead and put it onto a Glock 19. And then we'll talk a little bit more about the features. To remove it, you unscrew that button and then just push forward so that you kind of reduce or pull it out a little bit and then just kind of twist it off. All right, there's a Glock 17. Put the magazine back in. Now here is a Glock 19. In gray, no less. Gen 5, drop the magazine, peek inside, it's empty, pull the trigger in a safe direction. Now here's the light. Same concept. We're going to push the side of the light connector over to the edge there and just kind of fit it on place. And there it is. Now again, I tighten it up real, not too tight, but tight enough to keep it, so it doesn't wobble. Has a little bit of wobble to it right now. And there's what it looks like on a 19. Sticks out just a little bit more. To operate this light, it's very similar to all other, weapon lights that we've seen recently. There are two switches on the side. And you can go ahead and use your trigger finger, me being right-handed, and just push down. Or you can use your thumb on the offhand and push down. These lights operate the same way a lot of other weapon lights will operate as well. If you tap the button, it stays on. If you press and hold and then release, it goes off. So the way to use this, in my mind, is I like to use my offhand with my thumb and identify the target and then release. Now what that does, if there is in fact a bad guy, okay, it will temporarily make his eyes tighten down, close down, because there's protecting itself from that light. And when you let the light off, he can't see for 2, 3, or 4 seconds until his eyes dilate, open up, and he gets to actually see a little bit more light and see what's happening in the dark. So it's a really good tactical way to flash someone, release and move, and they have no idea where you're at. And that's one way to use this weapon light. So, you know, the fact of the matter is it's really an identification light. It's designed to identify a threat, but you can also use it in a tactical sense to actually, like I said, temporarily blind someone so you can move and get cover without them knowing where you're at. Okay, now, so we showed you how it looks, and it looks pretty good. It's a tight, you know, of course they make a great product. Streamlight does. They're a very good company. But let's talk about the light itself and what's some of these new features. It is available with the new rechargeable lithium-ion battery, which they call, I've got to read it off here, an SLB9. It's a trademark too. So I was really amazed when I got to look at this, because the battery itself is actually rechargeable in the battery. Let me show you what I mean by that. So let me go ahead and take this apart. And one of the other features of this light is that it allows you to access the batteries without taking the light off. So when you have the light on, there's a button here you're going to push, and there's a lever over here. And once you get that button depressed effectively, you can switch the lever up, and the whole front is going to pop open like so. The batteries are right here. Now, that's pretty cool. But like I said, what's even more cool, if you look at this battery real quick, this is that SLB9 battery. It says Streamlight on it. I don't know if you can buy these at the store, but it's rechargeable right here in the battery. Just stick this guy right in like that. And it's got 2 leads to it. And of course a USB to plug into your computer or your wall, or your wall outlet. A lot of the wall outlets have this. So you can charge both batteries at one time. But I was really, I guess, I think these have been around for a little while, but I was surprised when I saw that you could actually charge the battery directly into the battery itself. Now again, I don't know that if I went to Walmart I'd be able to find these. But again, the nomenclature is SLB9. So it's pretty cool. Now, if you lose these or they go bad or whatever happens, a regular CR123 battery will fit and operate. The downside to that is that these batteries have more power, and they deliver the 1500 lumens, whereas the CR123 batteries are going to deliver just 1000 lumens. Still pretty effective, but 1500 is a lot more. So batteries go in, of course. Now there is a plus and minus symbol here, so you can figure out how to do it. Obviously they always go in one way or another. And I had to look and see. And so once you go ahead and close that up and get it to the point where it's nice and tight, you can actually take this switch and it will kind of suck it down. Has an O-ring around that. They claim that this is waterproof. The light itself is waterproof down to 1 meter, say 3 feet, for less than 30 minutes or something like that. But bottom line is, it's pretty waterproof for rain and sweat and any other thing that you're going to run into unless you're going diving. So it's a pretty amazing light. Now, the other thing that they have is these 2 switches on the back that operate the light are changeable to a different switch that comes in the pack, which is pretty cool. So they call this one the high switch. And then they have what they call is an extended high switch. And I assume that's for people with smaller fingers, because it kind of extends further back so you can actually access it better. But, the bottom line is they give you some flexibility to go ahead and change that out. There's a little pin here. You punch that out, pull this in, put the new one in, put the pin back in, that kind of thing. So it's actually a really neat light. We just got them. These are brand new. And it is the new ticket, the new standard, which all the lights are probably going to be, looking at, because 1500 lumens in this small of a package is incredible. Of course, it is available for different guns too. Now we're showing it on a Glock, and this particular post or rail is designed for Glocks, but they have 2 other options in here as well for different guns. So it's pretty universal. It's going to fit, most modern firearms. The rail themselves are usually pretty much the same. It's really about the positioning and the size of that slot. And like I said, they do give you different options in there. So it's the new TLR-1 HL-X from Streamlight. Super bright, as you can see, and super effective and a great light. You know, remember, in a court of law, if you're ever in a shooting and it's dark out, even dim out, even dusk, that lawyer is going to say, did you clearly identify your target? Were you clearly able to see that he was or was not armed? Were you clearly able to see that he was a threat to you? And it all comes down to, yes, I had a light and I was able to identify my target. And if you can say that, that gives you a big heads up in a civil suit, because you now know that you were in the right because you said, hey, that guy was armed. Hey, that guy, you know, had intent. I could see him coming at me. I could see the look on his face. And that's what they're going to want to ask you in a court of law, like I said. So if you're looking for a light, it's brand new. We've got a couple of them here ready for you at the GlockStore. This is the TLR-1 HL-X. I, of course, am Lenny McGill. This, of course, is the GlockStore. We've got every Glock in stock, every Glock part and piece in stock, every magazine in stock at an incredible low prices. And we invite you to drop by the website at GlockStore.com, or come into Nashville and check out the store. We're just 2 miles from the airport. Love to see you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.